Hi, my name is 765McLaughlin, and for this project, I chose to interview a middle school Title I teacher who primarily works with fifth graders. So this presentation will be about middle school reading program, and as I said before, it'll be based on information from a Title I teacher. Some things to know about your child's middle school reading program. Everything in the program aligns with the Common Core state standards. It differentiates students' learning. It will challenge your students to push themselves to the next level. And we will make sure that the students' reading material they are reading in their free time or in their curriculum will be fitting to their current level of reading. And throughout the reading program, we explicitly teach vocabulary weekly. The curriculum vision. So this curriculum has a couple different visions. The first vision relates to all students directly about reading. The vision statement is that at least 80% of our students will be proficient in reading by reading the end-of-year grade level proficiency benchmark on FAST. FAST is a statewide assessment that is done for reading. It's when students read one-on-one with their teacher for 1 minute at a time. They read about 3 passages, and it averages their score of how many correct words per minute. And each grade level has a benchmark for the fall, winter, and spring when every single student is tested. Steps that will be taken to meet this goal are that all students who are not showing grade level proficiency will be given diagnostic testing to find any gaps in their phonics or other reading skills. The diagnostic testing is done one-on-one. It has about 3 different tests that can be done depending on the skill level of each student. It will be done in the fall, the winter, and then again in the spring so that any growth or standstills are monitored and then steps are taken to change that or to keep the growth going. All students who are at high risk will be put into small support groups that meet every day for 20 to 40 minutes to focus on their needed skills. Every single student in the grade will be meeting for a small group reading for 20 minutes, but those students who are at high risk also get the support to be in a different group outside of that. So they would receive about 40 minutes a day total of small group support. If the diagnostic or if their past education tells us that they are at an IRTI or a special ed level, they will obviously also be getting those small groups. All students who are at higher moderate risk based on the FAST testing will be progress monitored on FAST weekly. So progress monitoring is when they just read one passage for 1 minute. The passage is at grade level, and it gives them a correct words per minute so that teachers can have data to be shown the growth and to see where each student is at currently. All other students do complete the FAST screening 3 times a year, like I said, once in the fall, once in the spring, and again in the winter. The progress monitoring, like I said, is at grade level, so it gives them a minute and they can sound out the words. It's completely independent, so we know their skills. It also will tell us any times that they might have skipped or missed different words so that teachers can analyze those skills to put that into their small group instruction. The second vision statement this reading program will make sure to follow through for your student is that we will reduce by half the achievement gap between our English language learners and non-English language learners. The English language learner population at this school takes about 1/3 of the students, which equals about 140 different ELL students. Not all of those students receive ELL services, but they are still English language learners. We had noticed that in years past, the gap between English language learners and non-ELL students was too far for our comfort, so we have taken the steps now to recognize that and to bridge that gap together. Steps that will be taken in order to meet this goal are that all ELL students who receive services will meet in small groups for 20 to 40 minutes a day. Newcomer ELL students will also meet for an additional 20 minutes a day in even smaller groups. ELL data will be analyzed with all non-ELL students. So as a grade level, let's say they all took a Unit 1 test, you would analyze the data as a whole grade, but then we would also split it off by ELL and non-ELL so we could see where the difference currently was at for that test and where some possible errors in instruction would have been. It is a point of reflection that we focus on for each test when we're analyzing the data. ELL teachers will also meet with classroom teachers every 6 weeks to discuss students' growth and needs so that that collaboration between the different teachers helps the students succeed. Our staff promises to some things to know about this reading program and about our school in general for yours, so you feel more secure with your student being at our school, are that we will promise to grow as professionals and we promise to continue building relationships. Growing as a professional for the staff means that we will establish common language that we use with parents, that we use with other staff members, and that we use throughout our grades. So that's reflective of a vertically aligned curriculum, and there's a lot less confusion, and students and parents and everyone involved are able to understand and follow our instruction and our overall curriculum. We will develop a strong understanding of the standards students are expected to learn. The Common Core standards for reading especially consist of a lot of different standards. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But we as staff feel that we know all the standards, but we haven't had the most time to dive into the standards to better understand them to teach. So we are taking our professional learning time to develop a stronger understanding of the standards that we each are teaching, so that then our students know better of what they are learning compared to us just teaching to teach. The staff will work collaboratively to improve core and enrichment instruction through the professional learning community process. Each grade level team will be meeting once a week to have a professional learning community meeting where they will share ideas, share data, share information on students, and be able to track and make a plan as to how to better help certain students. This will affect your students' reading because all of the reading teachers in the grade will be meeting to discuss and share how they are teaching different standards. And your child's teacher can then get an idea from a teacher that maybe worked really well in their class and use it in your child's classroom. The staff also promised to analyze and use data to guide instruction. We will always put the needs of students first. We will communicate as much and as best as possible with parents so they can stay informed and trust their child's teachers. And we will make sure that each student is getting materials they need to be able to proficiently read. Students who are at or even below or even at grade level, oftentimes the curriculum text is not created to be at a level for them to independently read and understand on their own. So as a staff, we will make plans and buy different materials so that the things that your child is reading each and every day in school are appropriate for them, they are able to independently do, and they are able to understand and guide their own learning. Curriculum outcomes. Priority standards. So as I said earlier, Common Core consists of a lot of different standards based on core subject. If you have any questions about Common Core, you can contact any of your students' teachers, or you can go to Iowa Core online and it will show you all the standards by grade level. Our district has chosen to analyze all those standards, and they put together a team of teachers and principals and district members, and they picked certain standards in literacy that they felt could be labeled as priority standards that were kind of the most essential to students' learning and to students' futures. So the district picked those priority standards for each grade level, and those are the priorities that teams teach throughout the entire year more explicitly. The staff use these priority standards as the focus of their literacy instruction, and tests are given to cover all standards during the school year for grade level. However, the priority standards are ones that are tested multiple times throughout the year, and when we analyze the test scores and the data, we kind of look at those in more particular because we've been teaching them more explicitly, and we feel that they're skills that apply to your child's education and future. Some of these priority standards, as you'll see in a little bit, are taught in your child's reading class, but also across other core content areas. When I had met with the interview to meet with the Title I teacher, as I said, she works more so with fifth graders in the middle school. So when we discussed the literacy standards, we only discussed the fifth grade literacy standards. The fifth grade priority standards will be integrated throughout all of the ELA units and assessed on different benchmark assessments. Many of the literacy standards, whether they are priority or not, are taught and assessed in other core classes, not just in your child's English language arts class. So if you were to look on Iowa Corps' website, it's down on the bottom and I can help you find it, I'm sure. The fifth grade priority standards for the district are not labeled as priority standards on the website because they're all standards. But I've listed the priority standards for fifth grade, and then I've also discussed how the title teacher shared with me how they were assessed. The district did not pick a fifth grade priority standard for language skills. Those are kind of things such as conventions when writing and speaking, and these standards are assessed throughout the year on almost all tests and just within class projects. So the first priority standard is RL 5.1, which is a literature standard. It says to quote accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. This is taught across all multiple content core areas, and it's also tested at least 6 times a year throughout their ELA unit tests that the district has created. RI 5.1 is an informational text to quote accurately from a text when explaining what the text says explicitly and when drawing inferences from the text. Once again, taught across content areas. This is also tested 6 times per school year, once on each unit test, and then throughout the year for each teacher's individual tests or assignments. RI 5.7 is an informational text, drawing information from multiple print or digital sources, demonstrating the ability to locate an answer to a question quickly or to solve a problem efficiently. I learned that this is also tested 6 times a year on the ELA test and taught across content. RF 5.4 is a foundational skills standard, read with sufficient accuracy and fluency to support comprehension. So the student read on level text with purpose and understanding, read on level prose and poetry orally with accuracy, appropriate rate, and expression on successive readings. Use context to confirm or self-correct, word recognition, and understanding rereading as necessary. It's assessed through that FAST test we talked about earlier. W.5.4 is a writing standards produce clear and coherent writing in which the development and organization are appropriate to task, purpose, and audience, taught across content areas, tested on those ELA tests, and also assessed through projects and class assignments. SL.5.1 is speaking and listening. Engage effectively in a range of collaborative discussions, one-on-one, in groups, and teacher-led, with diverse partners on grade 5 topics and text, building on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly. Taught across multiple content areas, it's assessed through informative assessments in class, such as whole group instruction and partner discussions. That is the end of this presentation. Thank you for listening. When I had talked with the title teacher, she said that each grade level has a curriculum night that talks more specifically about their reading program, and that you can always feel free to contact any of your child's teachers. Thank you.